Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a 6 Samurai deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because we just got Battle Shogun of the 6 Samurai in with the Chaos Impact Special Edition. So I'm really excited to do this one. It's a super cool deck that just puts so many counters on and just puts so many monsters on board that it's ridiculous. This deck is super cool to play around with, super fun to just, make all these crazy plays with and be able to just keep linking and linking and linking. I just recently played this deck and actually went through all 15 extra deck monsters in a single turn with the way I built this deck, so it's just absolutely crazy, and it just depends on what the hand is that you get with just any deck. So let's get straight on this, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Legendary 6 Samurai Kizan. Basically, his big effect that you're going to want to remember about him is that he can special summon himself if you control another 6 Samurai monster. That is really big for this card because basically what you're trying to do is to put him on the field as quickly as possible to start linking him away and being able to go into all sorts of different crazy plays with Gateway of the 6 and being able to do all sorts of crazy plays with like linking him away and using him as fodder for all sorts of different stuff. So this card is really good to be able to put on the board. So the next card that we're going to be playing is going to be one of our normal summons of the deck, which is going to be Legendary 6 Samurai Kaigeki. I play 3 Kaigeki because he lets me put 2 monsters on board really easily to be able to link them away for Battle Shogun so we can search out our Gateway of the 6 to be able to start playing with 6 Samurai. Then we play 2 copies of Grandmaster. Grandmaster is kind of like a pseudo copy of Kizan. Kizan's good, but Grandmaster's the original. Grandmaster lets us special summon himself from the hand if you control another 6 Samurai monster, and then if he's destroyed by a card effect, by an opponent's card effect, you get to target a 6 Samurai monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. The only thing that you have to keep in mind about Grandmaster is that you can only control 1 Grandmaster of the 6. So you can't play him, you can't special summon 2 of them, you can only have 1 on the field at a time. Then we play 2 copies of Mizuho. Mizuho is really good because if you control a legendary 6 Samurai Shinai, you can special summon her from your hand. You can tribute a monster that you control or another 6 Samurai monster you control to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is really good to be able to have spot removal. 2 copies of Shinai. Shinai is the same thing as Mizuho because basically if you have a Mizuho on the field, you can special summon Shinai, and then his effect is that if he's tributed, then you can target a 6 Samurai monster in your graveyard except another copy of himself and add it back to your hand. 1 copy of Kizaru. Kizaru is really good in here too because it lets you, when he's special summoned, you get to add from your deck to your hand a 6 Samurai monster with a different attribute from every other 6 Samurai monster you control. And if exactly 1 6 Samurai monster you control and no other cards we destroy by card effect, you can banish this card from your grave instead. 1 copy of Hatsume. Hatsumi is really good because basically her effect is that you can banish 2 6 Samurais, and then you can target a 6 Samurai monster in your graveyard and put it back on the field, which can really help you out with extending your plays a little bit more to be able to, OTK your opponent and put so many monsters on board. 1 copy of Legendary Secret of the 6 Samurai. This card is legendary because it has the ability that when you normal or special summon a secret 6 Samurai monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to be able to have extra fodder to be able to go after your opponent for all sorts of different plays. I do actually play a single copy of Great Shogunshin. Great Shogunshin helps me go into Borreload Savage Dragon because it's a level 7 monster, and it also, if you control 2 6 Samurai monsters, you can just instantly special summon this card. If you want to leave it on the field, if you're playing against a Pendulum deck, this card just shuts down Pendulums because they can only activate 1 spell or trap per turn. So this card on the field, you just put this on the field and end turn, essentially, or loop them until you have so many negates on the field that it's not a big deal anymore. But basically this card lets your opponent only activate 1 spell or trap. Now keep in mind, if you negate it, it doesn't count as them playing it, so they get 1 for free. They get 1 spell or trap for free. That's all they get. 2 copies of Fuma. Fuma is a tuna, and so we need to play Fuma at 2. If it's destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon another 6 Samurai monster from your deck, but it's a really good level 1 tuner monster, along with our 1 copy of Shien's Squire. The reason we play a Shien's Squire in here is because it combos with our Gateway, because Gateway's 6 counter effect lets us target a Shien effect monster in the graveyard and special summon it. So this card's really good at that, being able to put it back on the field with the Gateway and being able to synchro into what we need to. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is really good in this deck because it helps us extend all of our plays and helps us just so much to be able to go into all the different plays that we need to go into to be able to make the negates and OTK our opponent. 1 Rhoda, because everything is a warrior in the deck, so Rhoda's good. World Legacy Succession is our second copy of Monster Reborn. With Battle Shogun on the field, you can just put another 6 Samurai monster under him and be able to, you know, get tokens or get counters on him to be able to get all sorts of different plays. Like, when you're playing this deck, you better carry a pack of dice with you because you're going to have so many counters on the field. You got to have something to keep track. 3 copies of Shien Smoke Signal lets us add a level 3 or lower 6 Samurai monster from red deck to our hand. We do have plenty of those. Usually you're going to want to add like Mizuho and Shinai so you can start getting your plays with them and being able to just kind of loop them. 1 copy of Gateway, which is hands down the best card in the deck. You want to just pay attention to the 4 counter effect usually of this card. Each time a 6 Samurai monster is normal or special summon, you can place 2 Bushido counters on this card, and then you can remove 4 counters from this card to add a 6 Samurai monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So basically you put this on the field, and all of your other cards that are spells get you Bushido counters, and plus Battle Shogun searches this, so it doesn't even matter that this is at 1 anymore, because you just search it with Battle Shogun, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna win now. 3 copies of Shien's Dojo. Shien's Dojo is really good because you always want to open up a Shien's Dojo or a Gateway so you can put multiple tokens on the field so you never really run out. Each time a 6 Samurai monster is normal or special summoned, you can place a Bushido counter on this card and then send this card to the graveyard to special summon a 6 Samurai or a Shien monster from your main deck whose level is equal to or less than the amount of Bushido counters on this card. But the cool thing about Gateway is you can remove those tokens or remove those counters from anywhere on the field. So you can remove them off of Dojo to be able to get your plays off a little bit easier, or remove them from Battle Shogun to get your plays off easier. I play 3 copies of 6 Samurai Unite. I'm thinking about dropping the Unite because it does have a limit of being able to put 2 counters on this card. I'm thinking about dropping this for Into the Void or some sort of like draw power in this deck. I would not play Extravagance in this deck, and I would not play Duality in this deck. I'm really thinking about Into the Void or Upstart Goblin or something like that to be able to draw more cards. But usually if you don't get your lock on the first turn, you're not gonna, I mean, you can come back, but usually you're going to get your lock on the first turn. So playing this card's good, and being able to send it to the graveyard to draw 2 is good, but I'm really kind of leaning towards Into the Void. I'm seeing a lot of people playing Into the Void in this deck, and I'm kind of getting on that train of playing that card with this deck. 3 copies of Temple of the Six. Temple of the Six has no limit to the amount of Bushido counters you can put on this card, and each time a 6 Samurai monster is normal or special summon, you put 1 on this card, and the monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack for each Bushido counter on this card. Basically, the effects are relevant. You just really want to get something on the field that can get you the Bushido counters, as many as possible, so you can just loop Gateway. Because basically, if you can get 2 cards on the field that hold Bushido counters besides Gateway, every time you normal summon a 6 Sam, you're going to get 4 counters to be able to constantly search. So, Gateway Gateway plus Dojo plus Temple plus 2 6 Sams, you win. That's it. Or Temple and Shien's Dojo plus 2 6 Samurais that can be special summoned, you're going to loop your opponent because you're just going to get the Battle Shogun, link for Battle Shogun, discard the random card you had, and then add Gateway. So, I mean, that's your setup. Then we play for the Isolde, which Isolde is kind of like a part of the setup. You play a copy of Living Fossil and a copy of DDR. DDR really helps out because you can banish stuff in this deck a little bit with, like Hatsume and stuff like that. so it helps you bring them back if you do banish stuff, and Living Fossil is kind of like an extra monster reborn. And then we play 3 copies of Called by the Grave because we don't want to get hand trapped on our Battle Shogun, because once we Battle Shogun them, or once they Ash Blossom us, you just flip the Called by the Grave and stop that hand trap, and then go after your opponent for whatever you need to go after. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's go into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Battle Shogun. You really only need 2 copies of this card. It takes 2 warrior monsters, including a 6 Sam, to go into this card. And it also has the ability that if this card is link summon, you discard a card to add a card from your deck to your hand that can have Bushido counters on this card. And every time a card is placed into a link zone that this card points to, then it gets another token on it. Really cool effect. And it also gains 100 attack for each Bushido counter you have on your field. So if you can get a lot of them on the field, this card can get really huge and really quickly. I've gotten this card up to 4,000 before, put it that way. I've had over 30 counters on the field in this deck. 1 copy of Shien. Legendary 6 Samurai Shien, you're always going to end with a Shien on board, so you just need the 1 of. I really want to play 2, but you only ever summon 1 anymore, and that's what's really kind of sad, is you only need the 1. Once you summon the 1 Shien, you just negate spells and traps once per turn, essentially, and that's what he does. 1 copy of Shadow of the 6 Samurai Shien. If you get 2 Kizans on the field after you've kind of looped your Battle Shogun, you want to put this on the field to kind of get you more tokens. It's basically here for the 6 Samurai in the name, for 2 Kizans to overlay into. Rihan, you can go into, and I do go into pretty easily in this deck. Boral Sword to OTK, and Boral Load for the link markers, actually. I make Boral Load a lot in this deck for the link markers, to be able to put him on the field, to be able to just kind of stop my opponent from, or attack my opponent, take their monsters, and do what I need to do. Apotheos is what I end with. I usually end with 3 counters on Apotheos in the way I've been testing this deck. I usually end with 3, and like a Shien and a Boral Load Savage is what I usually end with, and maybe a Battle Shogun, depending on how good I did. 2 copies of Yugioh. Yeah, I'm still playing the 2 Yugioh. You need at least 2 Yugioh in this deck. I really feel like on the next list they might put this to 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. You can still do what you're going to do with 6 Sams if they do put it at 1, but it's going to kind of hinder what all you're going to be able to do in this deck. 1 copy of Isolde. Isolde's really good to be able to put on the field because you can summon or add your warrior monsters from your deck to your hand, and it thins the deck a little bit because you can send 1 or 2 spell or equip spells from your deck to the graveyard. Usually I just send 1 and summon like Fuma or Shien Squire. 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps and for the link arrows. 1 copy of Nightmare Cerberus to pop monsters and for the link arrows. Number 60. Number 60 is surprisingly good in here. You can detach 2 materials from this card to either draw 2, skip your next draw phase, and discard 1. Skip your next main phase 1 to special summon a monster from your graveyard and defense. Or skip your next battle phase and double the attack of a monster you control. Really good card. Really easy to summon in this deck. And then a Boral Load Savage is the last card that I play. Usually when I end my board, I have a Yugioh under this going up to 44. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this 6 Samurai deck. It's a crazy deck. This deck is just absolutely bonkers. Like, I fell in love with this deck when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in 2010, something like that, when all we had is like Kizan, when the structure deck came out, actually, is when I started back. And so I played around with this deck, and it was just bonkers. And I played it when it was just Kizan Turbo, and played Kizan. Well, it kind of still is Kizan Turbo, but Kizan plus Shien. And now it's got all this, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy. I remember when Gateway was banned. That was crazy. So, anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell down there so you can become part of the notification squad. Tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.